So, Kiran, what do you think of Giannis's contract extension?
So, first of all, I just want to give a big congratulations to Giannis for this. I mean, he has worked very hard to get to where he is. He's earned every single penny, and yeah, it's a great story, and it's just great to see him get the supermax. Secondly, this is a great thing for the league, in my opinion. And like we discussed in previous podcasts, we discussed all the hypotheticals about whether he stays in Milwaukee or he goes to a team like the Heat or the Raptors. Now that he's staying, like we mentioned, this is a great for the league because the small market team gets to keep their generational superstar, and it's great for him, in my opinion, because he's not taking the high road to get the ring like some other players have done in the past. He's sticking to his roots and he's trying to bring one home to the team which drafted him. So it's really great to see. And as much as I wanted to see the Raptors go after him, it's great for the league, it's great for him, and it's amazing for the Bucks. So yeah, what do you think?
I completely agree with you. Just as you said to start off, congratulations to him and his family. 5 years, 230 million. I'm 100% sure his great grandchildren are going to be set with this money for their whole lives. And to add on, as a Raptors fan, it hurts me to see him sign with the Bucks, but also as an NBA fan, I love this because, as you mentioned, this means that the CBA in the Supermax contract is working. It's not working to how they expected it would work, but it's working to an extent where a small market team like Milwaukee can re-sign Giannis and he can stay. And I absolutely love, as you said, how he's going all in what Milwaukee is doing.
Yep.
So I'm really happy about that. This is without mentioning some of the conversations he's had with Damian Lillard. But, both of them are trying to get the other one to join their team. They don't want to leave their market. So I absolutely love this.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I'm looking forward to see how this is going to impact the Eastern Conference and the trade around James Harden.
Yeah, like you said, this is going to definitely shake up the East, considering how there were rumors that he could leave the conference and the Bucks would be in a bad situation. But now that he's here for the next 5 years, the Bucks are going to be contenders, and teams are going to have to prepare to face them in the playoffs. And I mean, obviously, if it happens, there's a chance that they will knock out the Raptors. But I really hope he wins a ring in Milwaukee. It'll be great to see for the Bucks fans. After losing to us in the conference finals, after losing as the 1 seed last year. And it could happen as soon as this year. It could happen next year or the year after. But um, they have shown Giannis that they're dedicated to him, that he is their franchise player, and he's committed to that. It'll hopefully works out and they get a ring. So yeah.
Yeah, same. I really hope that they do win a ring in Milwaukee. I know it's been a while since the Kareem and Oscar Robertson days, and they deserve a ring. Even though it hurts me to say this as a Raptors fan, they do. Their organization kind of got screwed over by the other organizations for ratting them out about the Bogdan trade, but I do
Mm-hmm.
hope that they can find the missing piece if this team doesn't work. But I do hope that they're going to go through and win a championship within these next 5 years, that Giannis contract is there. And hopefully, if they win, Giannis extends for his whole career and can be one of those Dirk Nowitzki, Kobe Bryant type of players for them.
Oh yeah, for sure. And we mentioned how there are a bunch of teams, including the Raptors, who were planning on making a run at Giannis.
Yep.
Now that's not possible. One of these teams was the Miami Heat, and they have shifted their plans quickly to another former MVP league superstar in James Harden. So, over the last month or so, his name has been in trade rumors, specifically surrounding the Heat and the Brooklyn Nets, and a little bit with the Sixers as well. But they've been going after him, and Harden has been wanting out. So, what do you think of this?
What I think about the James Harden trade, I know Heat said that they're out. I know Heat likes to get a bargain, and they know that they're not going to get a bargain with this one. They don't want to get rid of Tyler Hero to get Harden,
Mm-hmm.
and I respect that. I think Tyler Hero is the white Kobe Bryant of the future if he stays with the Heat and develops there.
Mm-hmm.
He has that type of potential, and I think the Heat are out of the conversation. About the Nets, with Spencer Dinwiddie partially touring his ACL, I don't think they should go in for the Harden trade, but I think they should consider their options. The question some people have been asking is that who's going to be the ball handler for them? I think the ball handler should be Karis LeVert.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know what Philadelphia is going to do. I don't think adding Harden is going to make them strong contenders or make them any better. I know the East is easier than the West, but I don't think adding Harden and taking out Ben Simmons is going to make a big difference. I think either way, they're going to be in the same spot.
Yeah, like you said, the Heat have been hesitant on giving up, Hero. The Nets have been rumored to trade away Kyrie in this, and the Sixers have been rumored to trade away Simmons. And honestly, if I'm Brooklyn or Philly, I am not doing that. However, if I'm Miami, I would consider trading away Hero. I know that you're high on Hero. You think that he can flourish as a Heat player, and I totally agree. I just think that it'll be tough if they trade him, considering like he was a fan favorite for sure. They made the finals. If they want to capitalize on Jimmy Butler's prime, bringing in another superstar and forming a trio with them and Bam gives them the best shot at winning a championship, in my opinion. And although it will be nice to see Hero develop as a Heat player, if they want to bring in Harden, that'll happen. However, I mean, nothing's been set in stone yet, and Harden's like playing for the Rockets as we speak right now, and Hero's playing for the Heat. So yeah,
I think teams that should be considering this trade and have been talked about as leading teams who want to get into this trade are the Raptors, the Celtics, and the Nuggets. Those were the teams that were kind of mentioned in the talks. And I want to know, who do you think is the best choice for the Rockets, and who do you think is going to be the winner?
honestly, the Nuggets have a lot of young players that they could give up. I think Houston can definitely get the best offer from them. Like they can trade Michael Porter Jr. or Bol or one of those guys. Like definitely keep Joker and Jamal.
That's the question I was going to say. I think the Rockets are going to ask for Jamal. Do you think the Nuggets should trade Jamal?
No, right off the bat, no. Right off the bat, no.
Right off the bat? I don't think it's an option, but it's a real question. Could you imagine a team with Harden and Jokic? I don't think it's going to work, but I want to know what you think.
I agree. I don't think it'll work. I think that the Nuggets found their franchise guy in Jamal Murray. Obviously, I mean, Jokic is better. I think that if they trade him away, like they'll probably benefit for the time being, but going forward, Murray can become a really good player for them. But they have the young players that Houston would like to trade for, and I think that they could get a great deal for them. And a trio of Jokic, Murray, and Harden would be very interesting. And also, I guess moving on to the Celtics, they got to keep Tatum for sure. Like, that's out of the question, trading away Tatum. But other than that, they have a lot of good depth players as well. They may trade Jaylen Brown or Marcus Smart or somebody, maybe one of the Williams, or maybe even Aaron Naismith. However, compared to the Celtics players, the Nuggets' young players, I believe, have higher ceilings, and the Rockets will get a better deal from them. And also, the Raptors, it's interesting to me that we're going after him. However, I don't think that we should really pull the trigger. And if I'm Houston, I'd be asking the Nuggets for their young players rather than ours. But that's my opinion. But what do you think?
I don't see this working out for the Nuggets if they trade. I know they got the best package of players they could offer in terms of young talent. I don't think it's going to be a win for the Nuggets because Jokic, in my opinion, is the primary ball handler. He's going to make those assists. And Jamal knows how to play with Jokic. I don't know how Harden is going to come in and handle that situation. With the Celtics, in my opinion, they could offer the perfect package in terms of, what Jaylen Brown is going to offer. They got some okay young guys. They're not amazing, but they could get the job done. And they can offer some good draft picks. But knowing Danny Ainge, he kind of likes to get a bargain. He likes to get a steal. And if Danny Ainge hasn't learned from his lessons with Gordon Hayward and the Pacers, then I don't see this working out either. Honestly, with the Raptors, it's too early to tell because we've lost the first 2 games of the season against the Pelicans and the Spurs. There were some flaws with some of our players. I think the fans, and myself included, thought that OG was going to come out popping off. Siakam has shown signs of his past self, but there have been some inconsistencies there. So I don't know if it's a good choice for the Raptors to go trade for Harden. And the Rockets are in a bad situation because, in my opinion, Nuggets, Celtics, and Raptors are the 3 teams you don't want to get into a trade talk with because they know what they're doing and they're trying to rob you. Usually those teams become available after maybe months of trying to trade a player. So, after 2 weeks, if the Rockets are in this situation, I understand it might be hard for them. And I also think Jaylen Brown is a more guaranteed player in terms of what you're getting. With Siakam, you could make a point that it might be the Raptor system or we don't know how he's going to work out here. So I do think the Celtics are the best choice for the Rockets. But in terms of who I think should get him, I think it should be the Raptors.
Really interesting if we got him. If Boston got him, it would be really interesting as well. Same with the Nuggets, but I hope he doesn't go to the Celtics because that would make them definitely above us, at least in the power rankings.
It would be deadly.
It would be really deadly.
Celtics, Nets, finals, conference finals for sure, if that happens.
That'll be a great series, but yeah.
also the other thing is there's a basketball perspective that we talked about, but those three organizations, at least Raptors and Nuggets, there's a culture there. There's a cultures with the Celtics too, but the Celtics have had back and forths in the past. With the Raptors, if you're bringing in Harden, you got to take that into account, the cultural perspective and how his behavior is going to be.
Mm-hmm.
And I think a lot of teams have gotten out of that. Teams that, don't really have a culture, but they're trying to set a culture, and they think that maybe bringing in Harden isn't the best idea.
Yeah, and that's a good point. I mean, Harden's definitely been in the news for off the court stuff and like locker room stuff and all that, but his talent is definitely there, and he's an MVP player, and he'll definitely help any team that he goes to. But quite honestly, I don't think he's going to be traded anytime soon. It could happen, but now that he's back with the team and when playing games, and they haven't won yet, but now that he's back, I think that he's going to get into a nice rhythm of being with his teammates and doing things that teammates do and all that. And during the offseason, I guess he was lonely, and now that he's back with his teammates, he may not want to be traded anymore. However, I mean, these are like NBA players. I mean, that could be totally wrong, and he could get traded tomorrow for all we know. But honestly, I think that he's going to stay. But next offseason, if things don't go well, he's going to get traded. But it's a huge trade to happen during the season. And it's happened in the past, but for a superstar like him, I think he's going to stay. But that's just my opinion.
I agree with you. And I don't think there's much I could add. Honestly, I don't like how this is ending between him and the Rockets.
Mm-hmm.
Because I don't want to say they're a historic team, but people are going to look back and remember James Harden as a Rocket. And when they think of the Rockets in the 2010s, they're going to think of James Harden.
Mm-hmm.
And to think how this ended is bad. I hope this is like a Kobe Bryant Lakers situation where they kind of make up and, the team becomes a contender again at least. No, I'm not saying they should go to the finals, but at least a contender. And yeah, I just hope this turns out well. In terms of trading him now, I think one reason he hasn't got traded yet and won't get traded within the next week is because the Rockets have 8 players on the roster and they can't play with less than 8. So trading Harden could not be the greatest idea. I don't know if there's a quarantine rule or anything like that, but that's something they should take into account. And I think that's one reason he hasn't gotten traded yet.
Mm-hmm. It's definitely a possibility. I mean, this is such a crazy year, such a crazy season, and there are so many other things that people have to worry about when trades happen that you didn't have to worry about in previous years. The Rockets got to account for a lot. The team that trades for him is going to account for a lot, and they have to commit to him if they decide to make a trade.
I agree with you. I guess only time can tell us what's going to happen.
Exactly. And if a trade does happen, then we'll be talking about it.